Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. My name is Publio. I'm going to sing a couple of songs to prepare our environment, to prepare ourselves to participate this moment with light that's the gospel according to Jesus Christ. So the first song is Song to Mother Zephyrina. Source of love that radiates, warming up our cold night, supporting comfort, supporting comfort, cascades from down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in the heart, with love in the heart. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. Oh, my mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings. Make your small son a good Christian. Make your small son a good Christian. The second song is Vibrate. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate away, loving, serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart and charity, our heart transforming into song. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity. And the next one is Calm Me Down. If I close my eyes to pray, I heard the sound of sea far away. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus Jesus cradles me in his arms I sway. Mighty earth on ice, how well don't need a hay. Music lifts his spirit in sweet ballet. Nature's love, a constant giveaway. In joy, in peace, my heart finds its way. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me in his arms I sway. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me in his arms I sway. Have a great night.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody is alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start, when the sun turns off the moonlight. We get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise, and on the other side of the mountain mountain there's always a whole new road, a new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. On the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, and a new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus, and when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
So we're gonna put the next song to prepare to our prayer.
Oh Jesus, here I am, my knees on the floor, to say thank you, my Lord, for the lives that come through this door. Your love is the key to change the entire world. Using this change
myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action. Helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, just have to put love in action.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. And before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place if possible. Our meeting will have a 30-minute presentation followed by the Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. Our meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Concafras Americas through their Facebook, and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. East by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. And now we have a special invitation for those who want to learn more about Spiritism. Get to Know Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. A new class will be starting this fall, so more information will be coming soon. Stay tuned. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The Gospel at Home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the Gospel at Home study meetings. By posting the chat, you can request it, so please let us know. You are also welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of positive vibrations, incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing, energy, and strengthen goodwill. So please find the link in the chat. And now we have another special invitation, which is an awesome event that's going to happen on May 18 and 19 at Oshawa, Ontario. And it's the Alta de Souza Fraternal Meeting from 2024. Last year, we did our first one here in Canada. in Winnipeg, and now it's going to be near us here in Oshawa. So everyone is welcome. We will have topics. The main topic, sorry, of the event will be workers of the last hour, but we will also have topics as Spiritist Center, the Alta de Souza Fraternal Campaign, and we will also have practical activities. So please join us. And more information and links for registration will be posted soon as well. So the topic of today's meeting will be, do not wear yourself out for the possession of gold. Items 9 to 11 from chapter 25, Seek and you shall find, which will be facilitated by our sister Veronica from Winnipeg. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will be addressing those questions at the end of the talk. And now we would like to invite our tonight's speaker, who will also be doing our opening prayer. Welcome, Veronica.
Hi, hello, Larissa. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you.
How is Winnipeg? Is the weather?
I just saw yesterday. We start seeing geese returning, which is a great sign. So they are coming in a very big packs. So I think that's
spring is coming, right?
Spring is coming, exactly. They are already here. So that's a good news.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here with us today, and I will see you in the end of the talk, okay?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, hello everybody who is now live and will be on demand listening to this study. So let's join our hearts in a prayer. Let's close our eyes and think and try to connect to our spiritual mentor, who is a dear friend who try to connect to us, provide us intuition, try to guide us towards the path we should take, each step in the way in this incarnation, and join with our spirit mentor, our guardian angel. Let's give thanks to God for this moment where we join, we celebrate life, we celebrate the teachings brought to us through Jesus and so many other enlightened spirits that come to earth to give us a message of hope, to give us a message of love for each one of us. And let's give thanks to our Master Jesus, who in conditional love embraces and involves us. And as still in our path, in our journey for enlightenment, we ask the protection of the good spirits in this study, where we hope to gain new energy, to renew our commitments toward improving ourselves and making good and spreading joy and love everywhere we are. We thank you, the protection of the good spirits. We thank God for this opportunity. We thank you, Master Jesus. So be it. Okay, everyone. So let me just let me just get here to share my screen first. Dun, dun, dun. Here. Share screen. Okay, share. I think that should do it. Okay. So as Larissa said, today we are studying items 9 and 11 from chapter 25. Chapter 25 is entitled Seek and You Shall Find. And we have been studying this chapter for 2 weeks now. And today, these items are about, is entitled Do Not Wear Yourself Out for the Possession of Gold. In this study, we are talking. We'll be reading and try to revisit the passage from Matthew, chapter 10, items 9 to 15. And let's take a look at the entire text, and then we are going to break that down in order to understand where the maybe the some hidden messages or hidden advice that our Master Jesus gave to the disciples that we can for sure apply in our lives. So it starts by saying, do not get any gold or silver or copper to take with you in your belts. No bag for the journey or extra shirt or sandals or a staff, for the worker is worth his keep. Whatever town or village you enter, search there for some worthy person, and stay at their house until you leave. As you enter the home, give it your greeting. If the home is deserving, let your peace rest on it. If it is not, let your peace return to you. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. Truly, I tell you, you will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah on the day of judgment than for that town. So this message, very short, but full of allegories, right? So full of images, and so it is one of the messages, the way Jesus liked to teach, where he used many of the context of the time and things that seem very material, but has a moral teaching in it. So let's break it. I decided to break that down into pieces and bring the interpretation that comes from the Gospel according to Spiritism by Kardec, and also from other spirits through mediumship communications. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So to understand the context when this message was, when Jesus was saying these words, right? So the context is that the Spirit Umberto de Campos in the book Good News is still not translated in English, but soon, hopefully, it will be. And in this chapter, in this book, the Spirit Umberto de Campos describes in each chapter a story about the day-to-day life between Jesus and the disciples. So he would give us the context of what we see in the New Testament in terms of the context of when Jesus actually told that to the disciples. So Umberto de Campos explained that this happened exactly when it was time for the disciples start to be spreading actively the new doctrine that Jesus had to brought to them. So they were already with Jesus for a while, and they Campus said that Jesus gathered the 12 disciples in the house of Simon Peter, where it was the place where Jesus would spend most of the time, and gave them the first instructions for the great apostolate. So these were the first words that of advice, instructions about how the disciples should behave and how they should be preaching and spreading the good news. So the goal for that was he asked the disciples to focus on the Israelites, so the Jewish people. They should not go to the Gentiles yet. They should stay and focus on the Israelites, the people from their faith who were in distress and with an anguished heart. So they asked Jesus, they were going to spread mainly around Galilee and the surroundings of Jerusalem. So the goal was to spread this message that the kingdom of heaven is near. They were given they were going to be able to do the same thing as Jesus would do, healing the sick, cleaning leprosy, and raising those who are dead in the shadows of crime or in the ungrateful dissolutions of the world. So in the New Testament, when we read, it says that you will be raising the dead, right? But that would go against natural law, God's law. And so Humberto de Campos complements that they will be raising the dead in the shadows, those who are in the darkness, in the shadows of the crime, those who don't understand the role in the world. And they would be enlightening all spirits who are in darkness. And that's when sometimes we see descriptions that they will be casting off demons. So what they were mentioning there, what they mean there is that they will be enlightening spirits that are still very attached to evil and perversity. So this is the context of those words. Now let's go. The first part talks about not carrying anything. So Jesus were advising the disciples to not bring anything with them. And the Kardec explained. So some would think at the first thought that we should be negating and disposing of all material belongs, money, or anything we own. But Kardec very cleverly said there that Jesus was advised them to not bring any belongs or money, because by doing that they could not tempt the greed of those who received them. So because they were going to other towns, visiting other people and talking to other people, Jesus wants to make sure the people who are listening were listening them because of the words they had, and not because any possessions or any money they were carrying. And it was a way to distinguish the charitable ones from the selfish. So they and the Spirit Joanna de Angelis also explains, talks about attachment to material possessions. And in another point is that Jesus was trying to teach them to try to detach from material possessions. And Joanna de Angelis is going to describe that the attachment to material possessions works like a trap, distracting the owners who start to believe they are owned by what they possess. So instead of becoming the owners, they end up being owned by the possessions. And that creates, and we see that because if we get extremely attached to our material possessions, we might become worried about losing our possessions. We might desire to accumulate more, and we may suffer and be worried uh, about the inevitable reality that we are going to leave that all behind when we discarnate. And this extreme attachment ends up erasing feelings of solidarity, compassion, and charity. And we act, it is a trap because you end up forgetting about others and only focusing on ourselves. So she advises that the possessor who doesn't care to share their wealth, offering worthy work opportunities, becomes a slave of their possessions. So here, we are not talking about not having any possessions. It is about the attachment and extreme worry. And further, Umberto de Campos also explaining this passage from Matthew is going to describe, is going to quote Jesus by saying, "Do not display gold or silver with your garments, because the kingdom of heaven reserves the most beautiful treasures for the humble." So according to Humberto de Campos, when Jesus was talking about gold and silver, he was basically telling the disciples to not bring anything that could be a wealth in the earthly, on earth, because they should highlight the beauties of the treasures of heaven. Because if they start, because people were very materialistic, they might lose focus of the message that the treasure is not here, is not material, but it is invisible. It is in the spiritual world. So there are many ways we can understand this small verse from this text. So further on, about not bringing any belongings or possessions, in Matthew we also see that Jesus advises for the worker is, he states that the worker is worth his keep. So what it means that if we work and we serve, we will be provided our needs. And when Jesus says that he's trying to teach the disciples and us that we should trust in divine providence. And that was the interpretation from Kardec. We should trust in divine providence not because we are just sitting down and waiting for divine providence to provide us with what we need, our food, our clothing, shelter. No, that's not the idea. The idea is that divine providence is providing because the worker is worth it. Who is the worker? Every one of us. So if we are a worthy worker, divine providence will be providing us what we need. Now, we should be careful here and, think that two things. What makes us a worthy worker? It is somebody who is a workaholic, or is that a quality work, the work of doing goodness? And according to God's laws, the laws of work, laws of love, it is when we are working in order to improve or benefit everyone and not only ourselves. So if I am a workaholic and I'm working lots of shifts because I want more money to own more things, I'm not helping anybody, right? But if I am I'm working hard to improve, to provide a good education for my family, to have some reserves that I can donate to, I want to work because I want to build something good for the community, then that's probably when we are being worthy. The other thing we should think about too is that is the thing that we should be acting on it. And well, these are the two things, right? We should be acting on it, and we should think about what is good. So divine providence is the provider. So that's the other factor we should consider. Sometimes we are extremely worried about possessions in the event that we might need something in one day, right? That's the excuse sometimes we have to not giving away something that's been sitting around in our homes that we have not been used maybe for months, years, decades, and then we just keep it there. Oh, if we one day we need it. While sometimes, many times, many other people might be it might benefit many people right away. And in the service of good, we need to remember that we are not the providers. God is the provider, and we are just simply the workers. Sometimes when we work in a charitable program, in a Spiritist center, for example, sometimes we are extremely worried about the costs, how we can generate revenue to cover for costs, because we don't want there are expenses in the Spiritist center, of course, and we just are just too worried about that we forget about the work. So we are worried about maintaining the work, and we forget about the quality of service work we should be focused, because we are the workers and God is the provider. So the focus here is in serving for the greater good, and not on being focused in a extreme way, and be too much worried about material needs to the point that we stop working. So moving on, the third idea that comes from this text is about going to towns and villages and looking for worthy person where they can stay at their home, right? So what Jesus tried to mean from that? So for Kardec explains that you should ask for who is worth in your house, worthy to house you, means that it is who is the who is the person in that town that will be giving you shelter to a traveler who owns nothing? So it was common at that time that people would travel between towns, villages, and they would be at families' houses, right? There was not always hotels or Airbnbs or things like that at that time. So people would spend the night in somebody's house. But what Jesus was saying by worthy person, it was someone who would be willing and interested in listen to the good news. So, and regardless of payment, they had no money, so the disciples could not pay for their stay. And they would be then knowing who are the charitable people. You'll be able to recognize them. So that was the point from Kardec. And if we look at Umberto de Campos again in the same message from chapter 5 in Good News, he quotes Jesus' communication by saying, when entering in any town or village, find out who is searching for the goods of heaven with sincerity and devotion to God, and then share the blessings of the gospel with those who are worthy until you leave. So this brings the idea that you should look for those who are ready to listen for the good news. And that will show that those who are ready are the ones who we should be focusing on. So if in about the peace, right? As for those, um, so then the most curious part of this message of this passage from the gospel from the Bible comes when they talk about if someone does not welcome the disciples, they should leave the town and the house and shake off the dust of their feet. And these are Jesus' words for how they should treat people who do not listen to them. But Kardec is going to explain that for those who did not want to listen, or when they are not welcome, simply go somewhere else and look for those of good will. Um, and many people believe in that this passage, Jesus tried to suggest reproaching, condemning, maybe cursing those who reject his teachings. But in truth, that's not really the case. Jesus was simply talking about dust, the dust we tend to carry with us after tough experiences. And the Spirit Manual in 3 different messages discuss this notion of dust. What is the dust? So dust of jealousy and sadness, disillusionment and lamentation when we are rejected. The dust of envy and vanity, bitterness and wounded pride when we are not understood. And further, he's going to also explain that the dust on our sandals represent the unhealthy concern for receiving social praise, unproductive sadness in the face of slender and weakness, useless distress in the ignorance of others, longing for immediate results in our actions, counterproductive rebellion against evil shadows, lack of discipline in face of temporary world orders, discouragement in the face of difficulties, despair among the natural obstacles of the path, demanding understanding from others in our personal manifestations, giving up to the good fight, or deserting in the face of pain. So we can see here, this is a lot of dust. This is a lot of dust we can carry with us. So all this negativity is a result of our reaction to the rejection of the good news we are trying to spread, or misunderstanding we might receive back. So such spiritual states, all this negativity, symbolize the dust on our sandals that we must promptly cast off in this lightest imbalance between life and ourselves. So at the small sign that we start to develop these negative thoughts and emotions, we should stop right away. And Emmanuel is saying that in a very strong way to us, because this negativity only attracts more negativity. We start to create in around ourselves this environment, this inner environment that will attract perhaps um, um, dislikes from previous lives, spirits that we might connect by this negativity that can influence us to go even lower in our state of mind and in our balance in order to work. And this can be true in our family relationships, dealing with a difficult person. So we should be very careful and pay attention on this dust that we carry. So, but Emmanuel also advises, what should we do then when this happens, when we are rejected, when we are trying to help someone and we are just blocked, people don't want to hear, we are sometimes people laugh at us, think there's no value in what we say. So we should not condemn or criticize those who can't understand immediately. Victims of hate often remain immobilized in despair and blindness for a long time. So we should not wait or expect gratitude at all, because we are just serving, right? Any help or any assistance that actually an individual receives comes from God and the good spirits. We are just the messenger. So we should not criticize them, because sometimes they are in this environment of negativity. So we should be the brighter side, right? We should not put people down even further. So when we can't help, we should stay silent, waiting for the blessing of time. So staying silent is very difficult for many of us, including me, because we really want to help, and we think sometimes that by trying to one more time, right, pushing a little bit, it might, maybe we stick in, right, the advice to somebody else. But sometimes we should be silent, maybe a prayer, and wait for the blessing of time. Why is he saying about time? Because with time, we all progress. We all are in different stages in our enlightenment, in our evolution. And with time, things happen. And sometimes it's necessary for that person who maybe is blind and doesn't want to listen, that they have to go to some events, some circumstances that would make them stop and maybe pay attention. And maybe it won't come through us, but you come from somebody else, because nobody is forgotten here on earth. We are all children of God, and they will receive the assistance when it's time. But we should not never feel to fire to the fire of ignorance or worsen the desolation of murky waters, which means that if somebody is very negative and is very aggressive, or even tell us like harsh words, we should not return harsh words, because that just increase the animosity. It is not worth criticizing or hurting, because you won't make it better. Whenever you are, keep understanding, hope, optimism, and serenity. So, giving this advice from Emmanuel, sometimes in the heat of the discussion, we might want to have we want to have the final word. We want to win, right? So a discussion, but what do we actually win with the discussion, right? Or creating more conflict. And sometimes, actually, we could be, for us to, if we are too insistent, we might actually make people avoid learning more. So, for example, if we start to talk about Spiritism to someone who is not familiar with and doesn't want to hear or have their own faith, sometimes if we are very insistent, this actually creates an impression that Spiritism is something like pushy, like that. And we know from Spiritism that we are not trying to make anybody to turn into spiritist, but actually find a meaning for living this life in as a spirit, right, and not as a materialist. So always serenity and optimism. So Emmanuel tell us to forget these negative feelings and move forward, because there's much work to be done in the world, and by sowing goodness, we will find happiness and perfection in eternal life. So our desire to receive or see immediate benefits or immediate results, it's very temporary. We are in one point in time, through eternity, this moment is very brief. So we are still attached to the idea that this present life is the only one we have. So if we think about a result that we are not seeing, we should be thinking about the spectrum of eternal life. How much should we wait, right? So that's what the Emmanuel is saying here. We should seed soul and goodness and wait for the results to grow. And at the end of this message, they're going to talk about people who are not listening. You'll be judged and pretty heavily. But what Kardec is saying that, in fact, I tell you that a day will come in which there will be less rigidity for the great sinners than those who seek God with false beliefs, or their lips and beliefs on their lips and without sincerity in their hearts. So what Kardec is saying here is that the judgment is harder on those who know, right, but don't follow, or they pretend they follow from the mouth out, but inside they're looking for benefits. So because those who don't know, they cannot be judged, they cannot be blamed for the lack of knowledge, but those who know, we are, right? So in this comes a link and a message to the spiritists. So for spiritists, the true spiritists do not violate anyone's conscience. So being forcing ideas that people are not prepared to, is not, they are not ready to. This is an act of violence. Do not force anyone to live their own beliefs, to adopt yours. We should not cast an anathema or on those who do not think like us. So we should not blame or judge, express judgment on them. We should gather those who come to us and live in peace those who reject us. And we should always remember Christ's word. Formerly, heaven was taken by force, today is taken by kindness. So in all we do, whoever we are in front, and whatever reaction we receive from them, we should always act with kindness. And in the final advice that Jesus bring to us from Humberto de Campos, and I should state here that these are Humberto de Campos from the spiritual world describes the life of Jesus and the disciples by seeing the scenes, right? In the spiritual world, they have super probably immersive virtual reality where they actually experience being there with Jesus. And these are the advice that Jesus brings to us. So this passage, the title in the Gospel according to Spiritism says, "Do not wear yourself out of good possession." Jesus warns us to be careful regarding the temptation of material possessions. We should organize the financial contributions and keep them with us. However, never look for things that exceed the necessary. So we should not wear ourselves out for having too much or the unnecessary. And Jesus also explains, right? He always teaches by turning back with a question, right? For us to reflect. So, did God need precarious wealth to create the beauties of the world? So let's think about what God created in the world. Everything we have in nature that we cannot replicate with money or possessions. Money is a useful tool if it is on the hand of someone who can master it, but it will never be everything, because love, with its infinite resources, is above all perishable treasures. So what Jesus is inviting us to do is to have love as the driver for using our possessions. And in that way, we would be protecting ourselves from a materialistic idea or a exaggerated perception or worry about possessions. It never says that possessions are bad. Jesus is saying for us to pay attention, to be careful, because love is the real treasure that we can take with us in after death in many lives. And we should always maybe look at the beauties of nature, and reminder that our Father created that for us to enjoy, and maybe to recognize that the beauty of earth are in things that we don't buy with money. Okay, so I think that's the study for today. I think we can bring Larissa back, and we might have some questions on the side.
Thank you so much, Veronica, for this amazing talk. I was just thinking about it, and so much like good reflections in that passage of the gospel, right? We have some questions. Let me just take it here. So the first one is from our friend Rodrigo, and he asks, can we extrapolate these recommendations to the ones of us who are trying to spread the lessons of Spiritism? When are words more important than actions in this case?
Yeah. So when Jesus is sending the disciples to other cities, other towns. He's not writing letters. So it is clear that action is this way to spread spiritism is an active motion, right? It's not something stationary only in words. So we should be it should be in terms of actions through helping others, to also being an example, not being negative, not being turned down by setbacks, right? So this shows who we really are and show our trust in divine providence. Now, it is very difficult because we all have struggles, but that's why Emmanuel is saying at the small, if we notice a little bit of sadness, we should stop right away, right? You should cast that off from inside of us. So acting is always, charitable work is always a good way to try to get out of this state of negativity, because when we are donating our time, we are volunteer, we are being treated as well, because any work that promotes the betterment of others, we have assistance from the good spirits. So we'll be treated by that as well, right? And for Spiritism, absolutely, that's how we should spread, right? Spiritism.
Yep, that's awesome. There is another one. So it's from our friend Publio. So he says, all those orientations are more focused on the workers, disciples, but also give us important teachings. Spread the good news is more important than get worried about possessing gold and silver. Like always, get to know the gospel. It's free for charge, and the social position or lifestyle of the worker cannot interfere on the message for the immortal spirits. What Spiritism recommend for those who want to help to spread the good news?
So the best way for those who want to spread the good news is learning and living the good news, right? It's not only learning. I think it ties back with the other question, right? We should learn the good news and make that good news part of our lives. And we'll see that as we incorporate, we start to living the good news and the gospel, the way we start to live the way how Jesus taught us to live, we'll see that some behaviors, some things don't fit us anymore, right? And then we have to make a choice. That's why Jesus also said we cannot serve two gods. Right? We need to make a choice. And when we start, that's why we'll be more judged. We'll be judged hard on things we know, because we cannot unknow what we already know, right? So
we have more responsibility, right? Once you know the truth, once you know the teachings, like you can't say, oh, I didn't know about it, right?
Exactly. And everyone has their own time and the way how and when they want to learn. It can be now, it can be in 1,000 years.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, so thank you so much for all these reflections and these answers. Definitely, it was a great talk, and I hope everyone enjoyed.
Thank you very much.
Thank
See you
you.
next time.
See
Yeah.
you. So now we will be moving on to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. Thank you for all your participation in the chat. So, what is spiritual treatment? PES is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal to assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. PESs help us to restore the state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from PESs, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. And during the PES, the water that you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that you and your family can benefit from. We will now make a prayer in preparation for the PES, which will also be our closing prayer as well. So I invite everyone to join me in this prayer. Let's close our eyes once again, if you feel comfortable doing so. Let's calm our hearts and elevate our thoughts to the image of our Master Jesus and the friendly spirits that are here with us tonight. Master Jesus, we would like to thank you for all these teachings and these reflections that was brought today from our sister Veronica. May you be with us daily. May you help us to put this into practice so we may be able to live the gospel in a daily basis. We know that we are all in a spiritual journey. We know that we are still have a lot to progress, but if each day we can start doing small steps, putting into practice all these teachings that we've been learning, putting to practice a little bit every day, we know for sure that we will be heading to a better future. Master Jesus, we also would like to thank you for this opportunity to be here, studying, to be here listening to these words. We also would like to request that all the names in our vibration book to be blessed by your loving energy, that may everyone that is there, incarnate or discarnate, receive a good energy, good vibration with peace, strength, and goodwill, and any other inner needs that each one of them are requiring right now. May you be able to assist them with that. We also would like to request your protection and your blessing for the week that we still have ahead. May the spiritual treatment that will start soon benefit us with all the energy and all the cleaning that we need in our life right now. And we trust that you will stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain. Let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The path begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Cafras Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube from Spiritism Canada and Spiritist Group Paths of Light. Have a good night.
Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, mate, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all we need is only one more chance. So try, build that bridge over troubled waters, fly. If that's all that you have left to do, I want more. I want more happy sunny days. I want more happy smiles on your face. Love sparkling the eyes. Tears no more, no more sorrows, no more bad days. No more cries, no more dark cold place. No more fear, no more fight. Someone told me long ago that life is just a long road. Sorry, babe, but life to me is way much more. No matter what it seems to be, it's always time to make a change. Sometimes all